This is one of the most exciting procedures I offer at Broadmoor Dental. It's called the cosmetic simulation, and what I'm actually doing is placing material on our patient's tooth structure so that he can appreciate what a change in his smile would mean for him. For Randy, he has some spaces between his teeth, and this has been his objective to get those spaces closed up. What you'll be seeing in this procedure is me laying down material temporarily so he can visualize what it would mean to do so. One of the key considerations when considering cosmetics is how is it going to influence the patient's smile overall. We need to take into account his coloration. For example, Randy's eyes are green. His coloration of his hair needs to balance along with the eye color, cheekbones, and shape of the chin. I'm going to have Randy smile big. We'll note that Randy has a smile that ranges quite nicely, and we'll be able to bring the coloration and a true full smile out with him with this simulation and of course the final results. You'll note that the coloration of Randy's teeth is one of his concerns, and the spacing between the tooth structure is yet another. In a moment I'll be laying material across the tooth structure to show what it would mean to close out the spaces and to recreate the smile on the top. On the bottom we'll probably do some consideration of using Bright Smile, so occasionally I mix different procedure types to maximize the results with the least amount of effort. The purpose of a simulation is to present the possibilities in terms of scale, in terms of closing spaces and redesigning shapes of teeth. Coloration will be partially addressed. Final results can be visualized by clicking on Lumineers. We're going to begin today by drying off Randy's teeth. We're going to start with our first placement on Randy's front tooth. Our objective with Randy's teeth is to create an increase in scale both in length and in width so we can close out the spacing. You'll note that we're using a lighter color as well, as one of Randy's desires is to increase the coloration to a lighter tone on his teeth overall. We'll be shining a light on the tooth structure and continuing with the next tooth. This procedure continues until the smile is complete. Our plan for Randy is to use Lumineers. Lumineers are a non-invasive way of creating cosmetics, which means we don't have to drill on tooth structure to accomplish Randy's goals. For those of you concerned about injections, it's also a method of approaching cosmetic dentistry without injections. Lumineers typically take 2 appointments. On the first appointment, we take impressions, and on the second appointment, we bond the final restorations in place. The simulation provides a guideline for us to be able to understand where we would like to go with the final tooth shape and length. In an early discussion with Randy appreciated this shade, which is complementary to his eye color and form. We also discussed how we're going to bring up the coloration on Randy's bottom teeth, and rather than doing a fixed cosmetic approach, meaning Lumineers or bridges and crowns, we'll actually be doing a bleaching system. Bright Smile will maximize the color of the bottom teeth and will blend them to the top. The composite material I'm utilizing for this simulation is rather thick in character, whereas Lumineers can be as thin as contact lenses. Again, a simulation is a representation of possibilities and not particularly of the final coloration and form that we'll be targeting. We use devices such as shade guides and selector to go through the specific coloration options. And we can discuss tooth forms, whether we appreciate rounded or a flat, straight effect as an example. In Randy's case, we're going to be carrying through the top 8 teeth in the front because it falls into a smile line. Then I'll be doing a test to determine whether we need to carry back even further to create the most complete smile that we possibly can with the least amount of cosmetic activity. As I'm working, you can see that Randy's smile is evolving quite rapidly. The spaces have been addressed, and the color is definitely starting to be uniform and complete throughout. This procedure, by the way, is completely pain-free. Is that correct? Good. And relax a moment. And smile big. In Randy's case, we're going to be carrying the teeth one step further because I want his smile to be absolutely incredible. So, I'm going to add some material to 2 teeth further back. Simulations of this type are rather efficient for me to understand what type of restorations are best for you. In instances where reconstruction is required, where you have multiple broken down teeth, we may determine, for example, that a bridge or an implant may be the best way to approach your care. options in cosmetics are not limited to fixed or cemented restorations, but can also include the use of orthodontics and Invisalign. At this point, I'll be doing a little bit of finessing in Randy's smile to see what I would appreciate in terms of length and character overall. Historically, cosmetic dentists have used computer simulations to show patients interested in cosmetics what their smile could look like. The difference between that approach and my approach, which is this truly fitted cosmetic simulation, is that I can actually build a smile complementary to facial form and arch forms. It also gives Randy as a patient the opportunity to look in a mirror and smile at himself. An impossible feat with a computer. At this point, our smile is representative of extension in length, closing the spaces, and uniformity in color. Upon Randy's approval, we're going to be going through and finessing some of the areas. At this point, though, I'm going to have Randy take a look in the mirror and smile at himself.
Wow. That's perfect. I love it. I really do. It's amazing.
Great.
That is amazing.
Very cool. Great. I'm glad you're happy. So that's a possibility we can do with some Lumineers.
Wonderful.
Let's begin. Okay. So Randy, what do you think about your smile?
I love it.
I'm glad. So, I need to take off this material. I know. But we're going to have the procedure done for you in 2 visits. Sound good?
Great.
Great. All right, so let's begin. Smile one more time. That is great. I'm quite happy as well. So here's the sad part. We're going to be taking these off now. I'm going to start by putting a little pressure on them. And what you'll be doing, unfortunately, in just a moment, is seeing your before one more time. As I'm removing these, you can see how I've increased the scale of the tooth structure, and I've closed out the spaces, and we now have uniformity in color throughout. I'm actually going to have Randy take a look in the mirror as we do this so he can see the changes that are going on and understand the steps that we're taking to create change. We've taken off these 3 teeth at this point. We can already see that the shape has dramatically changed with some cosmetics. I'll continue removing the temporary. A great example is when we compare the 2 front teeth. There's some material still left on here, but note the color and the shape and the changes that occurs from this tooth to this tooth. And we work our way together. Here we've taken care of your space issue. All right, so that concludes our simulation. What do you think? Want to stick with the befores, or is it time for a change?
No, I think it's definitely time to change.
Okay, let's take some impressions and get started.
All right.